So here's a resurrection of another of a movie review that was on Vlare. But I figured it'd be cool to bring this back. This would be another one because I feel like this movie is something people need to see. Like, this is a super underrated movie, and since movie theaters, do you remember those? Yeah. So movies, new movies, do you remember those? Yeah. Anyway, so this is going to be a review for the movie Uncaged. Now, Uncaged is a Danish film. It's a Danish creature feature horror film, and yeah, I came upon this on Amazon by stumbling upon it. I stumbled upon this movie, and I was like, what is this? I want to watch it! And I was not disappointed. Now, this comes from a guy by the name of Dick Maas. And with a name like Dick Maas, you know it's going to be a good movie. Maas had done production and directing on several other films. From what I've seen of his scenography, is that essentially he is kind of like the John Carpenter, the Danish John Carpenter. Which, yeah, if you guys don't know, John Carpenter is my favorite director, so of course I'm gonna like this. He has done a lot of like horror films that have a stretch of comedy and fun to them, like a Killer Tams, where it was a serial killer who scuba dives and uses the river. It's not like a creature feature film. It's a scuba diver serial killer. Neat. There's also one of Saint, which is the Danish version of Saint Nicholas, which is way darker. And now we got a Killer Lion movie. And when I say Killer Lion... what also, by the way, has anyone noticed that we've had as a film society, we haven't had a lot of killer cat movies. We've had... Okay, the highest, of course, is the shark movie. The killer shark movies are through the roof. You'll get like 100 at least a year. Second is crocodile movies. Yeah, second is definitely the crocodile movies. Third, I would say, is probably bear movies. Yeah, killer bear movies are definitely the third. Or killer insect... Actually, no, I take that back. I'd say killer insects are the third highest for creature feature movies, and then it's bear, then it's pig, then it's cat movie. I shit you not, that's how I'm 90% sure that is the exact killer animal totem pole right there. There are more killer pig movies than there are killer cat movies. I shit you not. So, what did I think of this film? So let's talk about the story real quick. The story of this film is basically a lion has somehow ended up in Holland and everyone's trying to kill it. It's that easy. We follow a veterinarian, a zoologist who's working at the lions at the zoo, and she has a former lover who is a big cat hunter. And she has a new boyfriend who's also her cameraman, and yeah. This movie also doesn't take itself seriously. It knows exactly what it is and goes on its merry way, and in fact, it's more of a horror comedy film. I will say, though, that the elements to this movie are... the horror elements the comedy elements of this film are going to be really hit and miss, especially when you watch it dubbed, so yeah. Some of the humor is kind of lowbrow, but at the same time, I'm like, I can be a sucker for lowbrow if you play it right. So it's going to depend on that. But however, the creature effects and the practical effects are spot on. It's nice. Yeah, it's again so rare that we get a creature feature film with a killer cat movie, and this lion is no joke. This is a big-ass lion, and they really stress home that just because it's a really big cat does not mean that it can't hide in a big city. And that's something like a lot of people seem to forget about. Here's the thing, here's a real fact about cats, especially big cats. They are really damn good at hiding in a big city. Like, if you go to India or if you go to like places in India, I'm going to use that, and there are like it is so easy for a leopard to hide in most cities in India. Like, hell, that whenever an animal has escaped, like a lion or tiger escapes, they usually they gotta catch it or kill it before it gets into a suburb area, because they will never catch it again. People know it's like a common thing. And that's what I really like, is that they show that this lion is no idiot. I mean, it's kind of like it's roided out. And here's the other thing: they don't really give a specific explanation for the lion. They don't give a, like, why it's there. They do kind of hint at a few things, but you don't care why the lion is there. That's the other thing, is that you don't really care why the lion's there. It's kind of like the shark in Jaws. You don't care why the shark's there. You don't need an explanation as to why the shark's there. The whole thing is, the shark's here, what are you going to do about it? That's the same thing with how they go with this film, with Uncaged, is that we don't know why the lion's here, but it's here now, so what do we do? Like I said, there's some great practical effects. I love the puppeteering for the lion. I absolutely love the puppeteering for the lion in this film. It is spot on. I also love that this film, again, does not take itself seriously. It's very much a horror comedy, but when it kicks into the creature elements of the movie, it really hits home. And I really love the cinematography in here, from Dick Maas. I cannot get over saying his name, Dick Maas. So the other major things about this movie is that you have to take into account that this film technically came out in 2016 from what I understand, but it just recently came over here in the States. So I'm going to count it as a 2020 movie. Which is fine. I also like how in this film, you get a lot of, like, at first, people are like, oh, there's no way a lion's here. And then when a lion gets here, everyone's like, oh, shit. And it's such a weird thing when Holland, when their biggest crisis is a lion in a city, and you think, man, Holland's got it good. Holland definitely has got it good when it comes to a crisis. It's like, y'all just worried about a lion? Shit. But there are some great kills in this movie. Absolutely great kills in this film. I cannot stress enough of just how fun this is. This is just a fun movie. And again, if you're a fan of, like, creature feature or, like, John Carpenter films or his style of directing, this is a movie for you. Definitely. It's one of those movies I didn't expect to like as much as I thought I would, as much as I did with, it was the same thing with Deep Blue Sea when I did that review a little while back, where I talked about how in that review, essentially, I went in that movie thinking I was gonna hate it. I initially thought I was gonna hate Deep Blue. It was a sequel to a movie that didn't need a sequel, and a bad sequel, no less. So it was the third movie to something that didn't need to be a trilogy, and the second movie alone proved why this shouldn't be a trilogy. So yeah, needless to say, I was a little apprehensive about that movie, and I was thoroughly proven wrong. Deep Blue Sea was a kick-ass movie. And that's the same thing with Uncaged, where I went in with pretty low expectations, and then I was met with those expectations going, oh, I see what you're doing. Kudos. And that's why I just love this movie. It's so rare we get a killer animal movie that has fun. Like, it really, not only does it play on some of the tropes, but it also, like, really harkens back to, like, the 70s era of, a lot of, like, 70s era, kind of those big boom, post-Jaws creature feature films. It's very reminiscent and harkens back to that. And I got a soft spot for those movies. So, to have a legit film that really plays on those elements is also really near and dear to my heart. And I know a lot of my fan base also likes those movies. So, if you haven't already, go check this movie out on Amazon. I think it's on Amazon. I don't know if you can watch it on Prime, but you can definitely rent it. It's not much. It's about $6 worth your time. Trust me. It is a $6 rent movie worth your time. I want to look for. I hope I can find it on DVD because I really had a lot of fun with this movie. It's straightforward, doesn't bullshit. It doesn't, it doesn't try to take itself seriously. It's everything you want in a creature feature movie and more. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much my review for Uncaged. Hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse, and I'll see you next time in the multiverse.